Let's start the episode. All right, homeless. Oh shit! Sorry, wrong show. This is the Indecent Exposure Show, and I'm your host, the weird OT John. And for episode 3 of Indecent Exposure, I wanted to talk about cartoons. With all the fuck shit going on out there, people raping kids, fucking incest everywhere you look. I thought it would be nice to talk about some fuck shit. There's this pointless fuck shit. So I want to talk about some cartoons that I grew up with. Well, at first I was gonna do a whole list of every cartoon on a few major networks like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, but I tried that yesterday night and I got an hour in and I wasn't even at Cartoon Network yet. So I decided, fuck that, I'm good. So today I'm just gonna talk about a few of them, the ones that I personally enjoyed. So for me to talk about a show, because some of y'all might be mad because I'm only talking about a few shows, I'd have had to watch the show a lot so I could remember it. So if you were thinking about a show that got snubbed, I most likely had it written down and I watched it, but I didn't watch it enough. I knew of the show, but I didn't watch it enough. So that's the only reason why. So I want to start with Nickelodeon. And basically, yes, niggas, I got notes. Fuck out of here. My memory's not exactly what it used to be. So shit, cut me some slack. So the first show I want to talk about is Rugrats. Mind you, all I'm going to be really talking about is what I liked about the show and, if it could work maybe today, if it was made today. That's about it, really. Just what I liked about it and how it would do today. And that's it. So the first one is Rugrats. Now, Rugrats is a show about four to six babies. Basically, the main characters are Tommy Pickles, Dylan Little, and Chucky. Now, mind you, on the show, Chucky was my favorite character growing up because Tommy was a dickhead. Tommy was that guy, like, yo, he'll lead you to the bar, and then he'll get a couple shots, and then he'll fucking go crazy and fuck the bar up. So, no, we're not, nah, but Chucky was that guy. Chucky was a guy. He was a little fuck nigga. He was scared. I can relate to that. Tommy going in like fucking fearless. Nah. I can't relate to that. Can't relate. I'm from Brooklyn. You can't live like that. So that's Rugrats. So they would, go around on adventures. The whole show was, shown from a baby's perspective. So normal things would actually look like monsters or something else. So it was a very dope show, but I'm not sure it would do well today simply because the audience has changed. Like, it works well with us 90s babies. 90s babies will watch Rugrats till it fucking blue in the face. That's no problem, but for the adolescents and the kids, I'm not sure because a lot of them have ADD these days. So I'm really not sure. The Rugrats is not fucking shiny like a lot of these new shows, and I'm not sure how that would do. The next show that I want to talk about, and I'm not even sure if you can fucking call it a show, is the Ren and Stimpy show, which is one of my favorite all-time cartoons because it was retarded, and I'm somewhat retard, half an idiot, so it really fits me. That type of humor really fits me. Now, Ren and Stimpy is a weird fucking show because this show has no plot. Mind you, I want to explain the plot, but it has no plot. Basically, they just do shit. Like, they go places, they show things. They were even in prison once. Ren was fucking Stimpy in one episode. Basically, it was implied, like heavily implied, because he had Stimpy had a log on his back, and Ren had a saw like glued to his pelvis. So you just have this dog fucking this cat with a with a saw and a log, and so he's just stroking that log. He's just fucking cutting through it. He's cutting the wood. He's going in. That's basically what Stimpy was doing. That's not exaggerated. What Stimpy was doing. It's making the sound effects. Like, he was grinding. He was crunching like shit. Like, you ever seen a woman? You ever fuck a woman real good, and basically they close up their eyes a little bit and all this other shit? That was Stimpy. This fucker was cringing. And so at the end, after Ren finally split the log, he just walks off, And then Stimpy, in his best voice, said, "Don't you want to cuddle?" And so that's basically the show. That's all it is. They had a fucking toast man, everything else like that. So would that show work today? Definitely not. No, they couldn't show shit like that today. Can't do it. Can't do it, man. Can't do it. It wouldn't be on Nickelodeon. I can tell you that much. I mean, MTV tried to have an adult version, like a more adult version, and it didn't last too long. So I'm not sure. Really, not. But it's a dope show. Definitely go watch it. Rocco's Modern Life was the same way, except there was Rocco, and I think he was a dingo, and he was a phone sex line operator. Now this show had a bit more of a plot. It was a bit more linear. Basically, he just got into adventures with his friends, and one of them was a fucking I think it was a tortoise, and the other one was a cow, an orange cow with a fucking green updo. That's all I'm gonna say about the show. Another one of my favorites, because it was in the 90s. This was the time where nobody fucking cared what got put on TV. Nah, nothing. So the next show I want to talk about is Hey Arnold. And Hey Arnold is a very dope show. This is probably the best show that Nickelodeon has ever put out in terms of I can't really say animation, but it's it's animated very well, and storytelling. In terms of storytelling, it is top notch, better than anything Nickelodeon has ever done, save for maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender, but that's in a class of all its own. I'll get to that later. So Hey Arnold follows Arnold, and he lives in this apartment building where it was basically a house, but they rent out rooms to tenants. And he helps out his grandfather and his grandma, and he has adventures with his friends, dealing with school. And the thing that made this show so great was the life lessons, because every episode mostly had a lesson to be told. Like, it was very relatable. It was very much like real life in many ways. It dealt with anxiety, like Stoop Kid. There was an episode where there was this kid named Stoop Kid, and he was called Stoop Kid because he never left his fucking house. He never left the fucking stoop. Never. Because he had a severe trauma, and the stoop was the only place where he really felt safe. And a lot of people do deal with that in the world. Like, they can't really go outside because they're scared of new things and fucking going outside. So that's very relatable. So in this show probably could work today, only because of its storytelling, and its storytelling, and it doesn't have bad animation. Like, it doesn't suffer from that early 90s animation. It was like choppy and scratchy a little bit. It was made in 1996, so it had that good 90s animation. Yeah, like good 90s. So yeah, I'm gonna move on. The Angry Beavers. Now this is a show I don't remember too much about, but it basically follows two beavers who live in a dam. Yes, they live in a dam. Beavers. They were very inventive. And it basically just follows their adventures. That's basically all I can say. Is just two stupid fucking beavers. One was a hippie, and the other one probably was on meth all the time. But definitely watch it. Cat Dog. Oh, Cat Dog. Cat Dog itself is a fucking phenomenon, because it's a show that as a kid it made you ask no questions, like how is this thing still alive? How is it still alive? Like, where do you shit? That's the question I really need. Where does Cat Dog shit? Like, does hairballs come out of each other's mouths? Because I don't count that as shit. I really don't. I really don't. But yeah, so a cat and a dog are stuck together, and they're stuck together from the waist. So you don't know where the cat begins and the dog ends, or some shit like that. It's like completely at the waist. And so they gotta fucking walk around like some weird abomination. It's very funny to watch if you think of it as like an experiment gone wrong, or a satanic ritual gone right. It's very funny to watch. The next one is, I want to skip Rocket Power. 'Cause Rocket Power is a dope show. Watch it, but I don't remember much. Wild Thornberries, I don't remember much. As Told by Ginger, I don't remember much. Chalk Zone I remember a little bit, but just go watch it. Any of these shows that I'm naming, just go watch them, honestly. Now, the one show I do want to talk about is Invader Zim. Invader Zim is a fucking dope show. It's very dark, very dark. The animation style makes it dark. The storytelling, the elements make it dark. It has some lighter tones, and then it also has its darker tones. I appreciated both, but I liked the darker tones a lot better. And the reason for that being because Invader Zim is a show about an alien that comes to Earth trying to take it over. Now, mind you, he's an idiot. He's the dumbest of his kind. And he only got sent to Earth accidentally because they didn't want to send him to any other planet. So he basically said, yeah, Earth, place is a shithole. Alright, Zim, go. And so they let him go. So he gets to Earth, and there's this kid named Dib who actually realizes he's an alien. And, you know, he makes it his life's mission to stop him because every other adult is an idiot. Like a fucking idiot. And I know this was done on purposely by the writers, even more than usual. Like, yeah, I know everything in a fucking cartoon or show or whatever, movie, whatever, is purposely done by the writers. But the creators of Invader Zim outdid themselves with this one. So basically, yeah, he gets to Earth. He tries to take it over. And he has a robot servant. And this robot servant is just as dumb as he is, if not dumber. So he gets into a lot of adventures and basically yada yada yada. Basically every episode is a different way of him trying to understand Earth culture and or take over Earth. Now the episode that comes to mind most with me, the one I never forgot, is an episode where Zim and Dib are in school, and basically Zim is trying to actually, you know, become, like, he has an obsession with health. So he starts stealing organs from other students. He has this machine that switches items. So, you know, you can put one item in, take one item out. So he started doing this with kids' organs. And this was creepy as fuck. It really was. Like, if you look past the cartoon, the animation, the cartooniness, it's creepy as fuck, and I love it. So he even put a fucking radiator in this kid, so he's just fucking walking around with a radiator in his body, and that's creepy as fuck. Like, it had this horror vibe. Zim came out of the fucking vent like a ninja. It had fucking had birds and sounds in it. It's like, shit, man, it's fucking creepy. Honestly, like, he honestly could have raped somebody in that whole episode. Like, if he had any interest into that, he definitely could have. It's fucking scary, really is. So yeah, go watch that. Definitely go watch that. It's a dope show. Also, it has a comic book out if you want to check that out. It's published by IDW, and it's just like the show. So go watch it. No, I'm sorry, go read it. You fucking understand. It's 2:45 in the fucking morning. Cut me some slack. Cut me some fucking slack, please. The next show I want to talk about is Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron is a show about, oh, you motherfuckers, you guessed it, Jimmy Neutron. And he's a genius, basically. He's a boy genius. And he gets into fucking adventures. Basically, every episode is either he gets into trouble with something that he invents, or he gets out of trouble with things that he invents. Sometimes both. And that was basically it. It was very imaginative, very well thought out, very smart. Yeah, that's basically it. Next is My Life as a Teenage Robot. And this show was a dope show. This show basically follows XJ9. It's a robot built by this professor, creator, whatever, scientist. It's been years since I fucking watched it, but I remember it well enough. So yeah, XJ9, she comes to life. She was created to fight crime throughout the universe, keep Earth safe, and so she comes to call herself Jenny. In the first episode, she meets Brad and Tuck. Now, Brad is like a guy, like her best friend / I don't know, romantic love interest later on. And Tuck is his little brother. So they meet her in the first episode, and they call her Jenny, basically. Because they're like, XJ9, what is that, your fuck name? That's your slave name? Change that shit. And so she gets called Jenny. So she goes to high school. Mind you, she's a robot, so she doesn't have to fucking go to high school. But she's a teenager. And, from the way I would guess it, a white teenager. Like one of those white teenagers that comes to the hood, like, yo, fam, you good? You got that hood pass? You straight? Nah, son. She got the repulsor rays on deck. She's like, fucking Aya woman out here. I ain't getting shot by her. She won't come to the cookout. Let her to the cookout. Let her come to the cookout. Fuck that. I ain't trying to get shot. So yeah. And for this show, there's like two dynamics. She goes and fights monsters and aliens, and she'll either fight them on Earth or go into space, or, which is more interesting to me, is she would go to high school and she would have high school problems, mainly popularity, fitting in, making friends, grades and all this other shit. So it was a very dope show for that reason. Another show about high school endeavors is Danny Phantom. Now, I think Danny Phantom is one of the best shows Cartoon Network has ever made. And so it follows Danny Fenton. He's a high school student who's the son of Jack and Maddie Fenton, who are ghost researchers and scientists who study ghost. And they tried to build a portal into the ghost zone. And the ghost zone is this place where all ghosts live. So they tried to build a portal to get to there, and they couldn't get it to work. And that was simply because they forgot to turn on the fucking on switch that's in the machine. So Danny goes inside, he turns on the on switch, and he gets, the machine turns on while he's in it, which causes his DNA to change. He becomes half ghost, so he can transform from a human to a ghost, like a hybrid. And he fights Ghost, basically. That's the whole thing. Not the most original premise at first, but then it gets more interesting because we get more knowledge on the Ghost Stone, other ghosts. We get into Vlad Plasmius, which is a very dope character up until the end. So the dynamics keep changing, the tension keeps changing, it constantly keeps changing the status quo, which is one thing I appreciate because it's a show that actually, rather than like The Simpsons or Family Guy, they don't usually change the status quo that much. Things usually like reset to how they were the next week. Like there's exceptions, like when Brian died and all that shit. So this is a show where the status quo changes constantly because every show is cumulative. Every show builds up on the last episode. So every decision actually counts, mainly. So that was a dope show, and it could work today because people keep asking for it. Like, I don't know if that's nostalgia vision or whatever, probably, but it's a very dope show. Go watch it. Next show is, I don't want to talk about Cat Scratch. It's a dope show, but there's not much to say. Also, El Tigre, one of my favorites, but is also not much to say. Fuck it, I'll talk about it anyway. So El Tigre is a show about Manny Rivera, and he has superpowers. This is in Mexico, so we trying to make Trump mad. We trying to make Trump mad, so I'm gonna talk about this show. I ain't gonna miss an opportunity like this. Yeah. So Manny Rivera has superpowers, and the thing that makes this show interesting is, one, they're in Mexico. Two, his dad is a superhero and his grandfather is a supervillain. So that is very dope dynamic, and he's basically struggling to see if he wants to be a hero or a villain, and every episode is basically him, either saving people or getting into trouble, and that's basically it. It's a very dope show. I mean, it didn't last long. It only had one season, so it was a dope show, but the ratings weren't good enough. And yeah. Alright, so the next one is, I don't want to talk about SpongeBob. I really don't want to talk. SpongeBob is cancer, mind you. SpongeBob is straight cancer. Yo, I got cancer from SpongeBob. Stop it, SpongeBob. You give him the cancer. Stop it. That's how I feel about SpongeBob. Because mind you, I watched SpongeBob when I was a kid, like up until about maybe 18, I think 18, I don't watch SpongeBob anymore. And if I do watch SpongeBob, which I haven't in months to years, I'll watch old episodes from when I was a teenager, from like anything up until high school. After that, nah. Because SpongeBob is the king of dick teases, kind of, in a way. Like, it'll say, okay, so this is going to be the last episode. No, I'm sorry. This is going to be the last season right now. No, I'm sorry. This is going to be the last season. And then basically later on, it's just like, last season? What's that? Like, this show is going to fucking go on forever. I don't even know if it's still going on, but it could go on forever. Legitly could go on forever. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Next is Fairly Odd Parents, which is another show that changes up the status quo sometimes, but mainly things just stay the same. Like, if this is not an event or a very key episode, it's just basically like, yeah, we're just doing this for ratings, which is perfect. Nobody has to change anything. Like with a Fairy Idol, Mark from Yugobatamia, Poof, and I think it was a dog that fucking got put on too. And recently there was this blonde-haired girl, and I think her and Timmy Turner share their fairies now. It was Cosmo and Wanda. They come from Fairy World. So Timmy's on that. They on fucking fairy welfare now. They're on fairy welfare. That's why Timmy Turner wished for a burner, because he's got to rob a fucking bank. Because they are on welfare now. They really need more wishes. They're like, yo, we don't have enough wishes out here. You're gonna have to share. I just straight up told that nigga Jorgen, no, yo, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. But that's Fairly Odd Parents. Now, another show, the last show that I probably want to watch is Avatar. Now, Avatar is a fucking masterpiece. Korra, not so much. It's a masterpiece in its own way, but The Last Airbender is a class all its own. Like, Korra is tier 1, and Avatar is all the way at tier 4. So, because mind you, Korra is not a bad show. It's not a bad show. It's just not as good as it could have been. But it's not a bad show whatsoever. Season 1 was good. Season 2, Season 3 was its best season. Like, its best season. Zahir was their best character ever. The best character. Honestly, for that show, the villains kind of made the show. At least Zahir did. They made the show. Now, enough about that. So I want to talk about The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender is a show that follows. And mind you, if you haven't watched The Last Airbender already, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You really should. I'm fucking shaming you on the airways. You should be ashamed. You really should. You really should be. Because mind you, this show came out when? Like 2005. 2005, nigga. That's 11 years ago. What you been doing for 11 years that you couldn't you couldn't watch an episode? Fuck, son. Now, it follows Aang, who is the Avatar, and basically an Avatar is a person who can bend all 4 elements. These elements include earth, water, fire, and air. And the Avatar is the bridge between the spirit world, which houses spirits and other creatures of that sort, and the physical world, which has humans and everything physical. So he's the bridge. So he has special avatar powers, like being able to go between the spirit world and the physical world, as well as being able to go into the avatar state. And the avatar state is basically being able to go on steroids. It allows you to use the power and strength and knowledge of every single avatar before you. Think of it as like Black Panther, because Black Panther is able to use the knowledge and skills of every Black Panther that came before him. Shout out to T'Challa. Shout out. Yeah, that was Avatar: Last Airbender. It's a fucking monumental masterpiece. It really is, because the storytelling is top notch. Fucking top notch. Maybe like the best story Nickelodeon has ever told, because it's told on such a grand scale. There's so much emotion, And mind you, Iroh and Zuko are my favorite characters in Avatar for a variety of reasons. Because Iroh is just so relatable. He really is. Iroh is that person that we kind of wish we could be, and we all need an Iroh in our lives. But a lot more of us are gonna be Zuko than Iroh. So definitely go watch that show. And that's about it for Nickelodeon. Let's see what else we got on my fuck list. Alright, so we're gonna move on to Comedy Central. And it's basically South Park. South Park is a fucking amazing show. A fucking amazing show. It really is. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Now, mind you, the quality has declined a little bit in the past few years. It's on season 20. It premiered yesterday. But South Park is an amazing show, and Matt and Trey Parker really fucking outdo themselves every episode. Really, like, even the worst episode of South Park is still a good episode overall because of the writing. The writing and the fucking honesty is amazing. Ugh. Yeah, the writing is amazing because before, I think up until like season 15 to 17, they would just do their own original stuff based on society and everything. But afterwards, they kind of changed that, where they would write the episode the week before it's supposed to air, so that they would actually do events that recently just happened. And I love that. Like, they recently just did the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, as well as like trolling, like trolls, and it's fucking hilarious. And also they did Trump. Now, mind you, I'm so glad South Park understands the joke. Like, yo, Trump's campaign is a joke. Don't you people realize that? He's trying to lose. He's trying to lose. That man don't want to be in the fucking White House. Like, how do you believe that? What would he do? I think he just fucking said, like, yo, if I get into the White House, my vice president is taking care of shit. I'm like, yo, come on. You can only do so many things. I'm like, yo, Donald Trump had no fucking mention of any of this behavior before becoming president. He's only doing this shit because he knows people are going to pay attention. And guess what? It fucking worked. It might have worked a little too well. But yeah, so that's South Park. It's very well done, very well animated, and definitely go watch that. The next one I want to talk about, or I don't even want to talk about this, but I got to, is Drawn Together. Drawn Together is a show that came out in 2004 and ran until 2007. And this show is straight cancer, but it's a cancer in a good way. You know, it's that soul alleviating. I got rent due, I got tuition due, but oh, I got cancer. We out. That's not fucking good. All right, that's Drawn Together. I'm fucking discombobulated right now. Ooh, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Oh boy, yeah, Drawn Together. It's a real world like show, basically. You have these characters in the house. Like, some of them are cartoon characters. They're all cartoon characters, but some of them are established, kind of like Betty Boop. And Betty Boop is the fucking whore of the house. Like, she fucking fucks anything in that house, outside that house. She's a fucking drunk. She's a fucking whore. And that's one of the reasons I love this show. They got fucking Pikachu. They got like 3 gay people, I think. They got Foxy Brown, which I forgot the voice actor, but it's a very prominent, well-known black female voice actor. And the fucking the princess girl, she also had a prominent voice actor, and her fucking voice is sexy, like really sexy. Like, yo, like that teacher in Atlanta, sexy. Like, what I see from her, I hear from that. Honestly, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but shit, it still doesn't change the fact. They're giving us so much trouble. Why you giving all that trouble? All she's got is curves. She's just trying to teach them kids, you know. I bet you those kids are appreciative. I'm just saying, not because she's fucking sexy, but because she's a good teacher. Get your fucking head out of the gutter, you fucking degenerates. Okay, so that was Drawn Together. The next show I want to talk about is Futurama. And Futurama is like in my top 5 cartoons ever. And Futurama is one of those shows that kind of transcends going past cartoons because it had a real story to tell. Like a lot of it is just senseless dribble, but Futurama, to put it short, simple, is an opera show disguised as a cartoon because it has a lot of beautiful and sad moments. Like there was an episode where Fry's dog, passed, basically, and Fry is the main character. He works for the Planet Express, which is basically a courier service, and he travels across planet to planet, and yada 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 yada. I'm not giving you the whole fucking story in case you haven't realized by now, because that would take too fucking long. But I'm just telling you why I liked it and why you should fucking watch it. Get the fuck off my balls. Now, yeah, so Seymour is Fry's dog, and he used to work at a pizzeria. I'm talking about Fry, not Seymour. Fry used to work at a pizzeria, and Seymour would just wait for him. He'd be there every day, and he'd wait in front of the store for Fry to do deliveries. So when Fry got frozen for 1,000 years after accidentally getting, falling into a cryogenic freezing chamber where he was making a delivery. He fell in and he woke up in the year 3000. He went 1,000 years into the future. So that's basically that. So they find a fossil of Seymour, and he says, yo, I found Seymour, I found my nigga, yo, this is live right here, let's fucking revive him. Can we revive him? And then the professor is like, yeah, you can revive him. So they about to revive Seymour, and then Fry gets cold feet. He basically says, yo, we shouldn't do this, this is wrong. Seymour lived his life, so if he got brought back, he wouldn't even remember me, he forgot me, he lived his life. We should just keep him dead, let him rest. Now it goes into a flashback where it shows that Seymour actually never forgot about Fry. It was one of the saddest episodes, because every day after Fry got frozen, he actually waited in front of the pizzeria where he worked. And mind you, this goes on for years and years and years until Seymour is all alone, and it's a winter and all that shit. So it was a very sad episode for that reason. Like, this is a show that disguises itself. Like, it's like an idiot who basically has a softer, more sensitive side, a tragic side to him, but you don't see that unless you really watch, unless you really pay attention. Another episode is Game of Tones, where basically the crew has to go into Fry's dreams in order to save the universe. So they save the universe, and as thanks, Nibbler, he allows Fry to go into the dreams of his mother right after he disappeared. And so he has this heartfelt moment with his mom, and they just embrace, and it's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. Like, yo, appreciate your mama, unless she bad to you, unless she beats you, then you're okay to be mad, but appreciate her. She don't beat you, appreciate her. And if she beats you but you did something wrong, still appreciate her, 'cause she love you. Remember that every time she whooping your ass, she love you. Otherwise, she wouldn't be whooping your ass. Now, and the last episode deals with Fry's nephew. Basically, what the fuck am I saying? Fry's nephew basically becomes an astronaut, and he takes Fry's name because his brother named him that. So he finally realizes that at the end of the episode. And yeah, that was a half explanation, because right after I said it, I realized I really don't want to talk about this episode because I barely remember what happened. All I do remember is that it's the saddest episode out of all those episodes. So if you don't want to cry, do not watch that. Yeah, that's basically it. Ugly Americans gets a shout out. Definitely go watch that. It's one of the more creative shows that Comedy Central ever did. Got canceled way too quick, if you ask me. But yeah. Other shows I'm going to shout out to is The Simpsons, because everyone has seen The Simpsons. Everyone has. Family Guy, I don't even like Family Guy anymore, but I used to watch it all the time. Bob's Burgers is a very dope show. Go watch that if you haven't. King of the Hill. It's a show that I really couldn't appreciate as a kid, but now I watch it every chance I get because it is so well done. American Dad. American Dad, in my opinion, is a better show than Family Guy because I feel like it has a better cast of characters. It has a better main character, and it has a better, it has a better supporting cast. Because Roger is fucking hilarious. Like, you can just make a whole episode about Roger by himself, and that's cool. You can't make a whole episode about Chris all the time. You really can't. Not Meg either. Can't do it, son. I won't watch that shit, but I'll watch Roger. I'll watch that cross-dressing alien. I'll watch him. Oh yeah, I'll watch him. Yeah. Now I guess I'm moving on to Disney. Oh, Disney, Illuminati. That's Disney for you. Now, first show is The Proud Family, and I really don't need to say much about The Proud Family because it is a classic. Basically, it follows Penny Proud and her friends as she goes through her teenage years and going through high school and all that shit. And it's a predominantly black cast, and it has that one token white character who tries to blend in. Like, this is the real girl who got sent to the cookout. Like, this is genuinely it. This is genuinely, like, I know I was talking about Jenny, but that's definitely her. It's definitely her. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, and shout out to that Rugrats and the Wild Thornberrys crossover movie. I forgot to tell you about that. I think it's Rugrats in the Jungle, or Babies in the Jungle, whatever. Also, shout out to Rugrats in Paris. Definitely go watch that movie. That will have you in the feels. Definitely go watch that. Now, next one is Kim Possible, and Kim Possible is a favorite of mine only because of the ending movie, like basically the series finale movie it ended it. Basically, the show follows Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable, two high school students. Kim Possible is basically a spy who goes around and fights, villains, like the same villains over and 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 over. But it's okay because this is a cartoon, and a very well done one at that. So they basically fight Dr. Draken and then Milf Shigo. Yeah. She goes to fight her, and there was two movies. There was A Stitch in Time, where basically they had to find a time monkey, but they fail, so they have to go to the future. Well, they get brought to the future because Shigo takes control of the time monkey and takes over all of reality. So basically, Ron Stoppable and Kim Possible go there and they stop her with all the future versions of everybody, and it's a very dope movie. And then there's another movie. There's a series finale movie, and I forgot. But I mean, Google it. Just Google it. Google Kim Possible series finale movie, and you'll find it. But this is my favorite movie episode or whatever, because this is finally the episode where Kim and Ron kiss. Oh boy, you have no clue how fucking much I fucking went, oh my god, it fucking happened. Cause you waiting a fucking long time. You waited 5 years for this, man. 5 fucking years of episodes for that one kiss that should have happened a lot earlier and was fucking beautiful. Like that fucking cunt Connie tried to say, yo, Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable, they're dating. And he tried to make everybody fucking laugh at him, and it blew up in the face because everybody started fucking cheering like, yo, my man Ron, you out the friend zone, my nigga, yo, you out the friend zone. It's beautiful moment for everybody involved. Really go watch it. Like, if you don't want to watch the series, fine, but definitely go watch that movie. Let me see what's next. BoJack Horseman is a Netflix made show, so all you guys gotta go watch Netflix. You gotta get Netflix. If you want to see it, you gotta get that $8 a month. It's $8 a month for your niggas with jobs. So, go get that, and you'll be able to watch BoJack. BoJack basically is the story of an actor, what's the word? A has-been actor. It's the story of a has-been actor who's trying to rise to fame again, and he's depressed. Like he's depressed. Like he's me depressed at times. How I used to be, because he's empty. He really is. It's empty. And this is one of the things that makes the show so great, is you have a very relatable character, because a lot of people do suffer from depression on that scale, because nothing he did, no matter what he did, was never enough. And supposedly, even I didn't see season 2, but I watched season 1, because at the end of season 1 he was actually able to get a movie role again, a movie role that he wanted. And even when he got it, it really didn't help him. And that's relatable, because a lot of people, they get what they think they want and it doesn't help. And that was beautiful writing. And it's very real. Like, it feels very real. It has a lot of philosophical questions and concepts that really leave you thinking and looking at yourself a little bit differently. But that is a great show. Definitely go watch it. That's, if there's only one thing you watch on Netflix and it's definitely worth it, because it's not like you can torrent it or anything, right? Yeah, that'd be silly. Now, the next shows I want to talk about is Beavis and Butthead and Celebrity Deathmatch. Beavis and Butthead follow Beavis and Butthead as they do Beavis and Butthead shit. That's all I can really say about the show, because that's all they do. They do Beavis and Butthead shit. They don't do regular shit. They do Beavis and Butthead shit. They do. And it's amazing to actually see. Because half the episode is just this. Okay? Half the episode is just this. Now, either I do that incredibly well, and that might be creepy, or I do that incredibly bad and it's just terrible, which means I might have some hope. But that's basically the show, and you should watch it, because it is a cult classic. It really is. Came out in 1993, in the era when no one gave a shit, and it was on MTV of all places, so they really did not give a shit about what went on TV. They really didn't, or else this would have never seen the light of day, or Ren and Stimpy. The next show is Celebrity Deathmatch, and Celebrity Deathmatch is another cult classic. It's a greatly done show. It's basically celebrities killing each other in death matches, and the thing about it was, it's not too straightforward. Like, it's straightforward in the concept, but the way they do it changes, basically. So, like, oh, you're fighting him, well, now I'm gonna throw this guy in there. Or, oh, there's a time machine, I'm using the time machine to bring something back. Or, oh, I'm gonna beat you in the head with the audience members. Just go watch it. It's celebrities and death matches, and I think it's clay animation. So just watch it. Really do. Just watch it. Just shut up and watch. You probably go on YouTube and find a few episodes. Just watch it. That's really all. Another shout out is Daria, which is this show about this girl in college who's very skeptical. She's very independent, where everybody else is a bit more obedient and they take things at face value. She doesn't. And I find that relatable because she's a critical thinker. So definitely go watch that. Now, one show I also want to shout out is Code Monkeys. Code Monkeys is a show on G4. Rest in peace, G4. It's a show about two video game developers, and it's all like 8-bit stuff, so it's hilarious. Everyone on that show is an asshole, by the way, so that's another reason why I love it. It's a show about game developers making games and getting into trouble, and everyone is an asshole. You really can't ask for too much more than that, honestly. Alright, so I've gotten through everyone else, and the last two that I have to get through are Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. Ooh, baby. This is where I really get into my childhood, because I really didn't watch too much Nickelodeon and Disney growing up. Yes, niggas crucify me. Now this one's going to be a little long maybe, so I'm going to try and speed this one up. I can't really explain every show. Dexter's Lab, a show about a boy named Dexter who is also a boy genius, but he's way smarter than Jimmy. But he's also way more impatient and quicker to anger, And this show was just fucking dope because his sister Dee Dee kept going to his lab. Basically, the whole premise of the show is either, he makes something and gets into trouble, or he makes something that goes well and then Dee Dee comes through and fucks shit up, or there's a problem in the city and he has to build something to actually stop it. That's basic premise. And the show also gave me one of the favorite moments in cartoons where he finally was able to tell Dee Dee, yo, get the fuck out my lab, and she actually listened, and he turned out he missed her, so he hired a prostitute, he hired a prostitute to actually be his Dee Dee. And she basically, this is how you knew she's a prostitute. She's like, yo, so do Dee Dee shit. And she's just like, what is that? What do you want me to do? She's just like, do stuff, whatever. Or it's just like, what do you want me to do? And so he's like, okay, dance. And so she's like, okay, but, it's going to cost you extra for anything else. And I'm just like, whoa, this is a kid's show. What is happening here? So that is also one of the dope part of the show. It also had Monkey. And Monkey is this super engineered monkey that Dexter created, and he has superpowers, but Dexter doesn't know this, and he goes to fight monsters and save the city with this woman. And I'm just like, that's prone semi-bestiality tones. I'm like, y'all need to chill with that. So Dexter's Lab is a classic. Oh, he also has this fuck nigga Mandark, who is like, oh, I don't play sports and I have no friends, what am I gonna do? And so, he's Dexter's rival. They fight a lot. That's basically it. Johnny Bravo. Now, Johnny Bravo is the emphasis. He is the original. He's the New York nigga. Like, you really can't tell me that Johnny Bravo is not a New York nigga. He really is. He's a New York nigga. He is. Hold up. Yeah, I need this water. My throat is parched. I hope you don't have this too high in case the fucking bottle snapping back fucks your ears up. It's your fucking fault. Health recommendations say can't have your fucking headphones all the way at the max. Listen to them shits. They tell you that shit for a reason. Now, yeah, like I was saying, Johnny Bravo was the original New York nigga. He would basically just go around asking girls out, talking to girls, giving these one-liners, and basically he gave the best lines, honestly, but they couldn't recognize his game, and so they turned him out every time. They turned him down every time. Basically, that was it. He gave the best line ever, the best sound effect ever. Hoo ha hoo, and that was the best thing. Like, he had all the muscles. He was basically a bodybuilder's dream, and he still couldn't get women. So guys, personality is key, but if you got big muscles and you're not a retard, that kind of helps. Honestly, that kind of helps. Don't be creepy either. I know it's not always easy, because basically, what the fuck do you mean don't be creepy? How do I know if I'm being creepy? This is how you know if you're going to be being creepy. Go up to a girl, stare at her, and when she finally looks at you, ask her, are you being creepy? And you'll get your answer. And just analyze from that and change. Basically, just keep pushing, man. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, Johnny Bravo is the original New York nigga. He would just keep trying to get girls and get into mishaps. But even when things were going good, there'd come a girl, and then just like that, fuck nigga. New York niggas. Like, I need someone to go do a Johnny Bravo dub now, and just start saying shit from the New York nigga memes. I really do. Like, yo ma, ayo ma. Like, I really need to see that now. Johnny Bravo saying, ayo ma, let's go get a chopped cheese. We put Timberlands on Johnny, give him a fucking do-rag. Like, I really need to see that now. I'd appreciate that. One show that gets a shout out, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, and then there's the Powerpuff Girls. And yo, fuck this reboot. I wasn't feeling the animation style. Mind you, whenever a show like the Powerpuff Girls comes back, and is a 90s show, mind you, whenever it comes back, I'm excited until I see the final product, and then I say, oh, okay, the audience isn't me anymore. The audience is the younger kids, And that, partially because of that, I can't really say fuck Cartoon Network, but I can kind of say that. Like, they did the same shit with Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans, mind you, is a great show, the original, and it ended on a cliffhanger, like no comics about it, nothing. And I'm just like, fuck, man, alright. Sticking me. It's like giving the ultimate blue balls. Like, you don't know what the fuck was going to happen. It needed a whole new season, and we'll never know. We'll never fucking know, really. But yeah, that's Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls was a very influential show because it was a show about three girls who are ultra powerful, and they go around and they fight crime, and they're three prominent female figures. So I don't know. For me, I'm just a dumb kid, but maybe for women, it just, like, you know, empowered them a little bit or whatever. Mind you, I know they're girls, but still. I mean, I know they had this femininity episode. It was like, oh yeah, men are bad, and so it was like this villain who was an ultra feminazi, and so Sarah, the teacher from their school, and Miss Cerebellum, which was the mayor's aide, both sat the girls down and they gave them real feminism, and I'm just like, yo, you guys are the real MVP. Teach these feminazis what real feminism is. Like, respect it. Yeah, Powerpuff Girls, go watch that. Oh god, I knew I had to come to this eventually. Ed, and Eddie. Now this show, this show will fuck up your brain. It really will. Show will fuck up. This show knew it was a cartoon. This show showed it was a cartoon, and this show broke the fourth wall every fucking chance it got. Every chance it got, from fucking taking out black outlines and people turning to smush, to eating the moon. Like, they had an episode where they specifically did that, and they said, yo, I think we're in a cartoon and some shit, and just, they broke the fucking laws of physics. And this show was retarded. It was basically three friends who all had the same name. Ed, and Eddie. Ed was a retard. It's ED. Ed with one D. And he's just like a big retard, but he's like the fucking Hulk. Like, nothing could stop him, basically. And if he's Hulk, then Rolf was Thor. Basically, Rolf had to be Thor, the almighty shoot-beating elf boy. Like, he was Thor. Like, he could lift Thor's hammer. Yeah, and then there's Double D. That's Ed with two D's. EDD. And he's the smart one of the group. Like, he would design all the tools and shit and all the things that they needed. Then there was Eddie, who was the mastermind. So Ed was the muscle, Double D was the brains, and Eddie was just basically the scumbag. He was the fucking scumbag of the group. And so they would go around and try to scam the other kids, you know, and get quarters. And the whole premise of it is just, yo, we need money to get jawbreakers, so we just gonna scam these kids. Like, all these scammers out now, you can thank Ed and Eddie for that. You really can. They were the original scammers. They were the original scammers. Not Wall Street. Ed, and Eddie. Not Wall Street, damn it. Next is Courage the Cowardly Dog. Courage the Cowardly Dog is a show about a pink dog named Courage, who fights monsters and tries to protect his farm, which has his family, which is Muriel and Eustace. And shut the fuck up, you fucking jeez. Yeah, Eustace. And shout out to rest in peace to the voice actor who voice acted Eustace, because he recently died in 2016. He was another victim of Blackest Night, and we don't know. Could take anybody. Now, yeah, so he would go around fighting monsters, trying to stop them. And mind you, Courage is a coward, and he's not very strong, but he had a lot of heart, so he would have to outsmart and outlast all the villains. And he did that week after week after week, and it was a beautifully done show. It really was. One of my all-time favorite shows. It'll fuck you up psychologically for a few episodes, and it also to teach you some things. It really will. Like that episode where I think nephew of Muriel's came, and he's a barber, and he's a fucking creepy barber. Like, he made Sweeney Todd look like nothing. So he saw all that fur. Like basically, he was a pedophile, but for hair. Like he had to take all the hair. Like it was a sexual thing for him. It was basically like he would end everything. He would go into a fucking rant, and then the fucking music came on. Da 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 da. And that was it was creepy as fuck. And so he would end every rant with this. And I've been naughty. I'm just like, yo, that's pedophile right there. So it's a perfect example of a pedophile. So he locked Courage in a bathroom, and he started to shave off everything against his will. Like it was creepy as fuck. It really is. And he would shave off everything. And so he even shaved off near his privates, shaved off his asshole. And I'm just like, yo, this is like back then I didn't think anything of it, but I think if I watch that episode now, it'll make me uncomfortable in a few ways. Because I'm like, yo, this is like rape. Like, stop. Like this is very insinuatious of that. So yeah, definitely go watch that. Another show that I want to talk about is Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack is the story of a swordsman named Jack who was sent to the future by his mortal enemy Aku. After Aku destroyed his homeland, Jack was sent around all the world to train with various masters until he could finally wield the magic sword, which is the only thing that can actually hurt Aku. So I think in the second episode, he confronted Aku and he freed all the slaves. He's freed his father, who's been in servitude all this time. So he's like a feeble old man, which is one of the dopest moments in the show, is when he fucking stops the guy who's about to whip his father and he kills him. And that is one of the dopest moments in the show. So basically, he gets to Aku, he slashes Aku a lot. He's about to give the killing blow, but then he pulled an anime villain thing, and he waited too long. Like he really waited too long to actually kill him. And of course, the villain Aku was able to protect himself by sending him like 1,000 years into the future, where Aku rules everything. So he rules the entire earth, and so he sends all these bounty hunters and all these creatures to actually kill Jack. So Jack has to fight all these creatures, everything that comes at him, and also Aku numerous times. And then he's trying to find a portal into the past. And it's dope because the last episode has him going against the Blue Guardian, and he's this Morpheus looking motherfucker. And the Blue Guardian is the one assailant that Jack could not beat. He was not strong enough. No matter what he did, he was not strong enough to beat him at this time. And the dope part of it is the portal basically told him as he was about to kill Jack. He said, "Yo, fam, stop. He's the chosen one." And so the Blue Guardian lets him go. He lets him live. And the end of the episode, we have a vision of Jack with a long beard. He's much older, which shows that he actually eventually beats the Blue Guardian. He's strong enough to do it. And it shows that he goes into the past eventually. It also has a comic book out if you wanna read it. Also published by IDW, and it's also returning next year in 2017. So that is dope. The season 5. So hopefully we finally get that. Hopefully we get that. We get a continuation that is deserving of the name Samurai Jack. Because Samurai Jack, the animation is one of the dopest things. Like the story, great, but the animation itself, beautiful, top notch, really. Let me see. Kids Next Door. Kids Next Door is a show about this this agency of kids who fight against adults. And it's dope because these kids make their own weapons against the adults, and the adults are trying to get them to school and shit. And so basically the Kids Next Door liberates these kids, and they fight adults and teenagers and shit. And it's dope. It's very straightforward up until the last season, and then it goes on some espionage shit. I won't get too much into it because I'm kind of pressed for time. Billy and Mandy, This is a show that I love, and I'm a little I love it a little bit more than I should. But it's a very well done show. It's a very well written show. It's story of two kids, Billy and Mandy is like the devil, and Billy is a fucking idiot, and they have ownership over the Grim Reaper, and so basically the premise of this show is either the Grim does something that causes, danger, or Billy does something that causes danger, or Mandy wants something that causes danger, or danger comes to them and they have to deal with it. Like in Billy and Mandy and the Spider Queen, that was where danger came to them. And mind you, I'm arachnophobic, so that for me to watch that, it had to be good, because I wouldn't watch that shit. I really wouldn't. All right, and Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the old version and the new version, definitely go watch those, because it shows the points between Episode 2 and Episode 3. Very dope. Megas XLR, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is a very dope show, because it's basically where imaginary friends become real in this reality. Basically, everybody who has an imaginary friend, anybody who thinks of one, they become real and they're tangible. You can see them, you can interact with them, and other people can interact with them. And so when somebody gets too old for their imaginary friend, they get to send them to fosters, like their pet in a certain way. So it follows the story of Mac and Blue. Now, Mac is forced to get rid of his imaginary friend by his mom, but he really doesn't want to. So what the home does, Madam Foster, the head of the home, she says, okay, we won't let anybody adopt him as long as you come here every day and actually play with him, which he does. And so sometimes that's one of the things, like, oh, somebody's trying to adopt him. Let's roll up on this fuck nigga. Let's get this guy. So that's Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Camp Lazlo, a show about a monkey, a rhinoceros, and an elephant who are at camp and they got to deal with some shit. And the monkey Lazlo, the rhinoceros Raj, and no, my bad, the rhinoceros is Clam, the elephant is Raj, because the rhinoceros is Clam is just like, I like things, like that's his voice, and Raj has the Indian accent. I am trying to see where you are going with this, but I cannot see it all. And Lazlo has a regular voice, and yeah, that's basically Camp Lazlo. I really can't go into it very much. Then there's My Gym Partner's a Monkey, which is the show about Adam Lyon, and he basically gets sent to a school. I realize I use the word basically a lot. It's probably because it's really late and I'm trying to go to bed, so I'm trying to simplify shit. But yeah, My Gym Partner's a Monkey is a show about Adam Lyon, who is a human boy, and he gets sent to this middle school, high school, because his last name is Lion. And they actually think that he's a lion, so he gets sent to this school with all animals. Like, we got Harambe in there, Cecil in there. It's a dope show, and that's basically it. And his gym partner really is a monkey. Like, he has his best friend is Jake Spider Monkey, and that's basically the whole show. They just go through a high school full of animals. Now, if that's not reason enough to go watch a show, then go fuck yourself, because I couldn't really name a better reason to watch a show. Ben 10. Ben 10 is a show about Ben Tennyson. He finds an Omnitrix, which is a device alien made, which has the DNA of every species in the universe. And he can transform into any of these species at will. Well, I mean, not at first, because at first he didn't know how to use it. Then he gains better control over it, and he has to recharge it. And then in Ben 10 Alien Force, which is the continuation of the original Ben 10, he finally gets better control over it. And so the whole thing is he's fighting aliens. That's just basic. That's the whole show. He's fighting aliens. He's fighting different terrorist organizations, which is alien related as well as maybe magic related. And then there's Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, which is where he finally gets full control over the Omnitrix. He can actually transform to any alien at will. He can change forms. While before he could only have one form, and then that was it for a while. The Omnitrix had to recharge, but then he could transform from one alien to another alien, another alien, another alien, and like never had to recharge. Yeah, that's a dope concept. I've left a few things out, but go watch it. Definitely go watch it. Then there's Class of 3000. It's a very short-lived show, but it's a very dope show nonetheless. It's a show about Andre 3000 teaching a music class at a school, and he tries to teach these kids the real meaning of music. Definitely go watch it. That is a very dope show. Andre 3000 is one of the dopest rappers out there ever. So go watch that. Chowder. I don't have enough time to explain Chowder. Just go watch Chowder. Definitely go watch Chowder. I can't. Same thing goes with Flapjack. Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Go watch that. Definitely. I don't have enough time. Generator Rex. Go watch that. Symbiotic Titan. Also go watch that because it's only one season. I'm gonna go through these. Batman. Nah. Code Lyoko. Go watch that. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, go watch that too. The Looney Tunes Show, go watch that, which is Cartoon Network's attempt at, recreating and changing the Looney Tunes name, where it's not just random shorts or just different character showcases. It's an actual episode that focuses mostly on Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, which is the most popular characters on Looney Tunes and probably the most popular cartoon characters ever. So definitely go watch that. I love this relationship between Lola and Bugs. So definitely go watch that. The Total Drama series, which is basically like the Real World and Survivor, and it's in the name, Total Drama. They're on this island or they get sent to this place and they go through challenges, and there's two teams and everybody gets voted off, and there's a winner at the end of the season. Like when there's I think 4 or 5 people left, there's no more teams, it's just people, but it's very dope, very well written. Only thing is it went on way too long. Like Total Drama and Total Drama Island, Total Drama Action, and I think the one after that were actually decent, but everything after that was just like garbage. Just don't watch it. IGPX, shout out to that. Also shout out to Mucha Lucha, which is this show about Mexican style wrestling, and it's very dope because they used to transform into their finishing moves. You definitely go watch that. Also the Mad series that came out in 2010, go watch that. It was just like anybody familiar with Mad TV as well as the Mad comics realize it's a show about different little skits, and Mad was actually very well done. It was actually pretty entertaining and funny. Also Ozzy and Drake, shout out to that. Thundercats, the 2011 version, shout out to that. Adventure Time, regular show, Gumball, Steven Universe, and Clarence. That is what we're getting to. Now, Young Justice is... Adventure Time. I'm trying to keep out comic book shows for a reason. Adventure Time is a show about Finn and Jake. Finn is Finn the human, and Jake is Jake the dog. That's their names. So they go through this whole post-apocalyptic world called Ooh, and it's a world made. It's like a place made of candy. Like they got the Candy Kingdom, and it's post-apocalyptic. So you figure a lot of things. Like it starts out nice and innocent, but later on you realize there's a whole lot of fuck shit and a whole lot of drama and sadness to be found. Especially Ice King. Once you figure out what happened to Ice King, it's very fucking sad. Regular show is a show about Mordecai and Rigby, and they just go around on adventures. They work at a park as like a cleaning crew, and they just go on adventures. When a show like Regular Time, anything happens. And unfortunately, it's ending after season 8, which is going to be soon. So definitely go watch that. I don't feel like talking about Gumball. It's a good show. Go watch it, but I don't feel like talking about it. Steven Universe, I don't have enough time to talk about that. Really don't. But just go watch it. It's a different type of show. I'll give it that. It's a different type of show. It didn't hook me at first because it was very simple, but later on, the dynamic changed a lot and it expanded. It got more mature. So definitely go watch that. Then there's Clarence. I really don't have too much to say about Clarence. Clarence is somewhat a very simple type of show, but it's a decent show nonetheless. I enjoy it, but I think that says more about me than it says about the show. Now I finally got into my last topic, which is Adult Swim. Ugh. Adult Swim. I'm gonna go through these lists real quick and talk about the shows that I really liked. There's Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is a show about Shake, which is actually just a giant milkshake. Meatwad, which is a meatball who can change his shape, and Frylock, which is giant McDonald's fries. Now these guys, they just go and do random shit. They live together in a shithole, and they go on random adventures. And their neighbor's called Carl. Like, they fuck with Carl a lot. Shake is an asshole, and Frylock sometimes is an asshole who tries to do the right thing. And Meatwad is that innocent guy who can be an asshole. And recently it ended in 2015, last year. So definitely go watch that. I felt it was a very good series finale. And it's Aqua Teen Hunger Force really kept itself fresh. Honestly, I can't say anything bad about it. Black Dynamite was a very short-lived show. It was a very dope show. It's very 70s-ish. It follows Black Dynamite, who runs an orphanage and a whorehouse all in one. And so, he goes around and fights ninjas and all that shit. It's very well done as well. The Boondocks, which is, I feel, one of the most important cartoons ever made. It's a show the main characters are Riley and Huey, and their a grandfather. So, they live in a white neighborhood because the grandfather was able to buy a house in a white neighborhood, and the entire show is them just dealing, like, black people's perspective and white people's perspective of certain issues, and it is a very dope show for that itself. Like, it goes in further than that, but that is just dope itself. Like, seasons 1, 2, and 3. Season 2 is probably the best season they ever made, but 3 is decent. 4, the main guy, I think McGrubber is his name, left, and the quality went down, so I didn't watch that full season. But season 1 and 2, dope. 3, watchable. 4, not so much to me. China, Illinois. I love this fucking show. Brad Neely is a genius. I don't give a fuck what you people say. I don't give a fuck. He's a genius. I am not going to go into this show right now because that is a whole thing in itself. Mary Shelley's Frankenhole, which is kind of a retelling of, like, the Frankenstein era and all this stuff. Metalocalypse is its whole thing. I really didn't watch too much Metalocalypse, so I really couldn't tell you what it's about. It's basically about, from my understanding, this metal band that fucking just gets into shit. It's a metal band, gets into shit, and break up, get back together. And that was it. Moral Oral really it didn't pique my interest too much, but it was about this kid who's, like, super religious, and I'm just like, me and religion do not go together too well, so I'm like, I'm not watching this show. I'm not watching it. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which is basically a talk show with Space Ghost, and he would talk to different celebrities and get into the shit. It's very funny. Watch it. Then there's, and excuse me if I get this wrong, most likely, Brad Neely's Harganellen Sculpio PPO. I've only seen one episode of the show past Sunday. And this show is retarded, but it is funny at certain times. Like I saw one where this giant monster was attacking the city, and then these Ku Klux Klan type people come, and they're just like, "Oh, oh, we'll help too." And the police are like, "No, please go get the fuck out of here." Like, "No, no, man, we're gonna help." No, so he starts giving commands to the people around him. He's just like, "Yo, you go round up the Jews. You go segregate the schools," and I'm dying because I'm just like, yo, this is right up my alley. I'm like, I love this shit like this. Everything else was fuck shit retarded though, so I can't really recommend it, but I'm just like, watch it if you want. It's only 15 minutes long. It's not like China, Illinois, where there's actual, one cohesive episode. This is basically just multiple things put into one episode. And then Super Jail. Super Jail was just like crack on acid. Like the fucking visuals were great, for lack of a better word or a more appropriate word. Great. Yeah. Mike Tyson Mysteries. Mike Tyson Mysteries is a weird show to me, not because of its content, but because of the way it makes me feel. Like Mike Tyson Mysteries is the type of show that I want to like, but it just doesn't go in enough for me. Like I'm very appreciative of the change that Mike Tyson has made over the years, based on who he was before and who he is now. More positive and all this shit. He's got his life together much better. And I want to like the show, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. Next is a show that I have never watched an episode of. I refuse to watch it, and this show is Mr. Pickles, because this show legit scares the fuck out of me. It really does. It scares the living fuck out of me. It scares the shit out of me. Because there's this dog named Mr. Pickles, and he just goes around fucking shit up. Everything I've seen is from trailers that Adult Swim puts out. And it is satanic and Illuminati. And I would think I would like shit like that, because it's so blatantly and obviously done. But I just can't do it. I can't risk it. I'm trying to go to sleep at night, and then some fuck shit happens, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. No. So, Mr. Pickles, you're gonna have to watch that shit on your own if you wanna fucking see it, because I ain't doing it, man. Like, as much as I'm not really into religion, I've been more into spirituality, I'm superstitious as fuck at times. I really am. As much as I don't want to admit that, I am superstitious as fuck at times. Next is Robot Chicken, and I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with Robot Chicken, but Robot Chicken is basically a show created by Seth Green, and it involves skits, like shorts, and every episode is like 15 minutes long. They have like a few episodes that are specials, most notably like Star Wars and DC Comics, and also holiday specials like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and I think even a Valentine's Day, I think. But yeah, so those are like 30 minutes to an hour long sometimes. And so it's dope. It's very dope. It's very funny. Every skit is well done. Like, they put actual thought into this. Like, it's not just fucking trash. Like, some skits might be trash, but the vast majority of it is very good quality. So definitely watch that shit. Trust me. I ain't giving you no fuck shit. Trust me. I leave all the fuck shit for me. I watch all the fuck shit myself. I'm giving you guys all the good shit. I'm not trying to give you guys any cartoon STDs. You good. You're good in good hands. Weirdo here. Weirdo got you. Weirdo gonna hold you. Weirdo gonna cradle you in your arms. I'm gonna keep you safe. Don't worry. Next is Squidbillies, which is I don't want to talk about Squidbillies, because I like Squidbillies too, and it is a retarded show. And the only reason I like it is because I'm retarded. It's one of those shows where you can just watch at 3 a.m. and it's 15 minutes long, so it's nice and sweet. And if you don't have anything else to do, you just watch that, and all your troubles go away, because it makes you retarded. And then there's the Venture Bros, which unfortunately I haven't watched much of. I really been meaning to, but I haven't watched much of. So, you're gonna have to do that yourselves. You good. You guys are good. And the last show that I want to talk about is Rick and Morty. Now, Rick and Morty is a weird fucking show. and I love it. Probably my favorite show on Adult Swim right now, because it's one of the only favorite. It's probably the only good show that's playing on Adult Swim right now, cartoon wise. So it has Rick Sanchez and Morty, and basically Rick is a super genius and Morty is an idiot. Now it's explained that like there's ramifications and there's reason for this. Like the whole dynamic of Rick and Morty is like a symbiotic thing, because every Rick needs a Morty and every Morty needs a Rick. And you see like these dynamics that, you know, there's more to Rick than meets the eye. Like multiverse theories come in to play. Like in one episode, I think in season 1, they fucked up their own planet and they had to leave because they fucked up the genetic material of everybody on that Earth. So I'll give you the lowdown. Basically, Morty wanted this girl Jessica to actually go, you know, and like him basically at a dance. Like he wanted her to want him at the dance. And I can emphasize because I've liked the Jessica at my gym. She light skinned, she cute, but you know, I can't. I'm timid. I'm good. Just gonna stay home and watch my cartoons. So yeah, so he wants to actually he wants to get her. So Rick makes a potion that will actually you know, make Morty irresistible to her. So he sends Morty to the dance, and then he figures out, oh shit, I fucked up. Which for Rick is actually very rare, because he's a super genius. Rick is the ultimate asshole. He's an asshole for a reason. He's the ultimate asshole, but he's smart. Like he's very deserving of his title of genius. And so he gets to the dance, and the side effects were basically that not only does Jessica want him, but everyone else on Earth does as well. Like, because it spreads. Like the whole the potion is spreading because it's airborne. And so they have to leave and they try to fix it. So he splices it with like lizard DNA, which fucking mutates them. Then he splices it with something else, which mutates them even further. Then he tries to fucking use, I think, dinosaur DNA or some shit like that. And so he just ends up making these fucking monsters of everyone on Earth. So they fucked up their Earth, and they decided to go to another Earth. They abandoned that Earth. They abandoned that version of their family, and so they went to a new Earth in the multiverse, and they found an Earth where the Rick and Morty of that Earth was already dead. Like they just died. So they went there in that point in time right after they died, and they buried them in the backyard right behind the house. So that is some deep shit, man. That is some deep shit. Like Rick and Morty isn't like a Futurama where it kind of disguises itself as like, you know, it's basically a, you know, fun show and shit like that. Nah, Rick and Morty is deep as shit. It really is. Rick and Morty is deep as shit. So definitely go watch that. Now I know this wasn't much of an explanation, and I'm tired. I haven't put out an episode in a while. So this is the only reason I'm doing this. You know, probably the next one probably be better, because you know I might talk about race and, you know, civil rights and shit, or I'll talk about comics, or I'll talk about porn, whatever. It's my show, you faggots. I'm gonna talk about whatever I want, and you gonna listen. Now I'm done. I'm gonna go to sleep because it is fucking 4 a.m. So until next time, it's the Weird Weirdo here. You know, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Whatever, bye. Stop fucking bothering me. Have a good night.